And here we go. 118. Etonym. If you break it down, it looks like for and also. Can be used for sure or certainly. Quare means to inquire. So you ought to inquire thus or so. Ubi. Where? Multa avara. Where there's much avarice, greed, much audacity, much boldness, much improbe, which is much wickedness, and multa perfidios is much perfidy or treachery. You shall see, plural of the second person, you shall see the factor, the deeds, or the facts. Ibi, there, scellus, so it's crime or wrongdoing. Quoque also is latere, in hiding. There's a verb, putot, future imperative, plural. So think there, this crime is lying hidden amongst illatot flegidi, amongst such disgraces and bad behaviour. There you will find the scellus, this serious crime lying hid. Temeretsi, type of adverb. Looks like we'll just take that as yet or nevertheless. Hoc quidem minime latet. So this indeed is lateting, lying hidden, minime. It's leastly lying hidden. Well, it's not very well lying hidden. In that it is promptum, so it's ready at hand, and propositum est comes from propono, so it means it's exposed to viewing. So that none from these maleficates, not from these evil deeds, which constates in agreement, that are in him or in this, which are understood to be, but from this even, if quo de illorum forte dubit, so if there's any doubt or hesitation by chance, forte is the by chance, concerning any of these, just from this one thing it should be convincing, you might want to say, or you can convict on it, on its merits. Quid tandem quaeso judices. We have tandem in a question, which just really means just. So, just what is it, gentlemen of the jury, vocative, am I quaesoing, am I asking? Num, whether, either he a Lannister, we'll take that as a type of gladiator, as the Loeb does, omnino, altogether, seems to have recessed or receded or retired from the sword, we'll just take those now, or hic, disciples, or in the case of us, so we have the illy in the hic going on, or either has a disciple from his magistrate, from his teacher, tantulum, so little considere in the art. So is the disciple that much less departed in the skill or the art from his teacher? Something like that. Paris, the avridia. So the greed's the same. Similus is the improbitas. Probitas is good, so improbitas is the wickedness or the scoundrelness of them. Eodem, it's the pronoun for the same impudentia, same impotence, and gemina audacia, so it's twin or the same boldness. 119, we have etonym again. For also, or if we take that as for in fact, quoniam, since you cognostis, you know the fidem of the master, cogniscite, plural imperative. So this one here, you already know the fides of the magistry. So now, no, there's nunc for now. The equitatum, the fairness, something's equal, it usually means flat or fair, of the disciple, of the student. Dixie, I said, yam antia. Antia means before, so this yam be in the past, so it's already before, saipi, often, numero, numerous times. Postulatus esse, from 2 slaves from him to be brought into this inquisition. So basically it looks like he's already asked several times, he's postulated or demanded for them to be put to the test, or I think they used to torture them, or at least get their with their witness. So he's asked for them to be in this inquiry. Tu semper, you always, Titus Roscius, vocative, recusity, you refused. Remember the vocatives, anything that goes IUS, the US has dropped off, and if otherwise you have an E there. Quera, I'm asking, abs te from you. Preposition abs is before T's and C's, and te is the most common way of putting it. Then we have ne for a question. Those who postulated, these who asked this, erant indigno, that's plural, so were they indignant or unworthy? Those who impetranted, those who were unworthy of getting what they asked for? Or he did non commovebat te, or did he not move you when he was postulating or asking pro quo for him who he was asking for? Or did this matter seem iniqua, unfair in some way to you? Okay, so we had people asking. Postulant, those who asked were homines nobilissimi. That's the superlative. They were very noble or very respected, and they were connecting the adjectives with an at, which they always do. These two adjectives take the homines. And the interrogi, so these are whole or wholesome men, whatever you want to call it, in simple English, of our city. These are the most well-respected and trusted men maybe of our city. These quas who, nominavit, who I've named already before, yam antia. These who thus, ita, have vixeranted, they lived, and are putatant, they are thought by the Romano people, by the Roman people, in such a way that they have lived, by their examples also, so that quicquid, that anything, whatever, dicerant, they have diceranted, they have said, no one, esset, that's a subjunctive imperfect, no one would think that it was not equal, not fair. So there's no one who would not think that they were fair in what they were, quid, whatever they said. Or tem, however, or moreover, they were postulating, they were demanding or asking on behalf, pro, of a homine miserimo. It's a superlative again. Most wretched man, right? And infelicimo, and very unfortunate. So again, two adjectives connected to the same noun. Who, we'll take vel here as the adverb, meaning, for instance, he would cuprit, he'd desire to, put himself to be given over into torture. Dum, if, we'll take that as a proviso clause, which will take a subjunctive, provided that there would be inquired into the morte of his patris. Again, we have the a genitive splitting the prepositional phrase there. So, if provided there was an inquiry into the death of his father. Okay, 112. That's 120 actually. Poro. So, furthermore, or continuing on, the matter, abste again, from you, was postulated in eos modo in such a way, as such, so that nothing interesset. Interessets comes from inter sum. Inter est is an impersonal, so it makes no difference. So nothing made a difference, utrum, whether you recusarade from the matter, the em ram. So if you refuse the matter, or if you confiderade, or if you confessed, so concerning this malefic deed. Okay, so I'll set up a daily dictionary word. Looks like one of the best ones here would be this proposition from propono at the moment. So, propositus, a participle, set forth, declared, proposed, not to be confused with propositus, which is something you propose or your plan, is if it's used as a noun. So, quae cum ita sit. And I'll scroll a bit now. So thus, with these things as they are, quae is the relative and since the subjunctive. So when these are such as they are, quera, I'm asking again, abs te, from you, quem ob causam, what was the cause, what was the reason that you recusarade? Why did you refuse? When Sextus Roscius was acquitted, he was killed, these slaves, they were there, ibidem, in the same place. If you've ever written an essay, you might have put ibid on the bottom, it means from the same place. So the slaves that they're asking for, they were here when Sextus Roscius was killed. The servos ipsos, the slaves themselves, in quod ad me attainat, as it pertains to me, or from my point of view, nequi, neither do I argue, accuse them, or perjure, or do I clear them of anything. I'll take quod as because, or yeah, all that. From you, from vobis, I see this is being fought. This is being fought from you, even though it's plural. Lest they be given over, dentored, into the Inquisition, into the quaestum. This is suspiciosum est. This is the suspicious act that he's fighting these witnesses. Vero, but or moreover, quod apud you, so that at your place, they are themselves in honour or tente sunt, that they held in such honour amongst you. Prefect, I'll take that as the verb. Assuredly, necessitas, it seems to be necessary that scient aliquid, that they know something. Quod, which, if dixerent, if they said it, would be pernicious or ruinous to you, futurum sim, in the future. Now we have a quote. In dominos query de servis incum est. So it looked like it's unfair concerning slaves for them to be made to testify towards their masters, is the quote. But this is not being queried, this isn't being asked for. They're not being asked to testify against their master. For Sextus Roscius, they've used the anum post-positive as you do, splitting the first name. For Sextus Roscius is the res, he's the accused. And I'll just make a quote here from the Loeb footnotes. As in Greece, voluntary evidence given by slaves was not accepted, except in special cases such as the Catiline conspiracy. As a rule, they were tortured to make them confess what they wanted to prove, but slaves could not, however, be tortured to prove their master's guilt unless he consented. So that's the rule which this quote seems to be relating to. Nequiem. For neither is cum de hoc queritur, for this is not what I'm seeking. Queritur in dominos, that he speaks against his the masters. It's a bit of confusing here for the slaves because they have changed hands, but still they're not asked to testify against any guy who actually owned them. It's the son of the previous owner. For dominos esse, for as you say, dominos, you're saying you are the masters. Cum Chrysogenes, they are with Chrysogenes. Ita credo, yes, I believe this. Chrysogenes, the nominative, was led by the literus eorum and obitane. So the literus means like how they write, and urbaneness is the refinement. So that amongst all of his own suus omnium, of all of his own delicums, these are more expensive slaves, I'd say. We have delicacy in English, I suppose. And of all of his pluralists, all of his little boys of arts, from chosen, lectos means chosen, from so elegant families, that he wants these to versare, that's the deponent meaning, he wants them to live. Verso in the active just means turn, but the deponent form means to live with them. These men are almost operaries. These two slaves are basically people who do opera, they do work, they're labourers. And Chrysogenes has chosen them amongst all these brilliant little slaves who are skilled in arts and letters and refinements. These from Ameria, that's the area it's from, even the book's named after it. Learned discipula from rustica familia patris. So that does it for the day. Cicero is pointing out that these are just two rural slaves, basically, and that's it.